All of us are afraid of suffering. We are afraid of pain. Not just physical pain that comes from illness, but also emotional, psychological pain that comes from separation, bereavement, a rupture in relationship, when we have been betrayed, ridiculed. The emotional, psychological pain can overwhelm us. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, it is natural for human beings to avoid suffering. The difference between Jesus and us is this. Instead of overcoming our suffering by transforming it, we run away from our suffering. We try to find escape routes. Running away from suffering will only cause us more harm, more pain at the end of the day. Running away from suffering does not give us life. The only way to overcome suffering is to embrace it. Make sufferings our friends, not our enemies. You would think this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous only if you are carrying the cross without meaning, without a cost. It is meaningless suffering that actually make us suffer much more than we should. When suffering is for good cause, when suffering is for love, we can carry the suffering quite easily, not to say that it is not painful. It is only those who go through sufferings in life without understanding why they are going through. That kind of suffering will cause a person to be resentful with God, with their fellow men, with themselves. And so it's very important today that in the face of suffering, we must put on the right frame of mind. All sufferings, when it is for the glory of God, for the service of our brothers and sisters, for the love of humanity, those sufferings actually transform us and give us greater life. So, to embrace suffering is not to take away our life. Rather, it is to push us into a higher level of living. Jesus said to us, take up your cross. He doesn't even ask us to take up his cross. But he carried his cross before he asked us to carry our own crosses. Jesus carried the cross for the love of his Father, for the love of humanity, so that we will never doubt the Father's love and mercy and his triumph over sin, hatred, and death. The key to suffering is this: love. If you have loved, you can suffer with people and for people. If you don't have much love, then you will suffer less. Because when we love someone, we can identify with the person, with our beloved struggle, pain, weakness, fears. That is why love always brings about identification. Identification brings empathy, sympathy, and the action is loved. That's why if you really want to be converted, you have to go to the ground. You have to be on the ground and to see these people, then you know what suffering is. Just by sitting in the armchair, you cannot be a social worker. You cannot help the poor just by sitting in the armchair. You need to identify with them. When we begin to feel with people, then we will suffer for love and with love. Renunciation is only possible when you are capable of love. Renunciation means to make space in your heart for others. That is meaning of renunciation. Otherwise, things, resources, money, all these things preoccupy your heart and you have no space for others. But when you renounce all these things, then you open your heart to the sufferings and to the needs of others. Renunciation is a prerequisite. Otherwise, we have no space for love. When we love, it means sacrifice. Love and suffering always go together. That is why both love and suffering have the same word, passion. Passion in love and passion means suffering. But suffering with great joy because it is out of love. And that is what Jesus has done for us by suffering on the cross. The vicarious sacrifice heals. Why? Because in a vicarious sacrifice, when you are suffering with people and for people, the person who is giving the love, making the sacrifice, has grown in magnanimity, in love, in being more human by identifying with others. The recipient feels that love. So both are healed and both are restored to salvation. Some sufferings are not from God. Some sufferings are basically from ourselves, our own foolishness. That is why the importance of discernment. So we must, in the face of suffering, ask ourselves, is that what the Lord wants of us? How does the Lord want me to overcome this suffering? How does the Lord want to be glorified through this suffering? Only then that suffering is called redemptive. Only then that suffering glorifies God, help our brothers and sisters, and most of all, help ourselves.